All right, guys, let's talk about symbiotic relationships. And so if I were to take symbiotic and break it down into the word parts, sim means together. Bio we know means life. And so symbiotic are things living together. And so symbiotic relationship are going to be two different species living together in a relationship, right? We actually have three kinds of symbiotic relationships. So we'll start with the easiest one first. That's mutualism. Now, mutualism is when I have two different species living together, but both benefit. You're mutual. And whenever we start doing symbiotic relationships, we like to use symbols. And so that would be a plus for both of them. They both benefit at this point. And so some really easy examples would be like a rhino and an oxpecker, right? Have you ever seen, oh dear, here's my rhino. Look how cute he is. Here's my cute little rhino. And you guys ever seen the birds that sit on their back? Well, that's because those birds are eating the insects on the back. And so that's going to benefit both of them because that rhino, right, he's getting cleaned. So that's going to be a good thing for him. And that bird is getting a meal. And so they both benefit in this relationship. Another example would be the alligator and a bird. I don't remember the bird's name, but have you guys ever seen the alligators? Whoa, there you go. We'll make it a little more round. Have you ever seen the alligators that sit with their mouth open and then the cute little birds go inside and they start pecking around his teeth? Well, again, that's mutualistic because the alligator, he's getting his teeth cleaned, and the bird, he's getting a free meal. So they both benefit there. Or plants and bacteria. If you have a plant usually within their root system, they have these bacteria that live inside them. That's because the bacteria will take up nutrients, and then the plant can use those nutrients. And the bacteria, they get a nice place to live. And so that's mutualism, when both of your organisms benefit from the relationship. My next one that you've probably heard of is parasitism. So parasitism is when two different species live together, but one of them benefits and the other one is harmed. And so that's why we give this a plus minus symbol, because one benefits, the other one's harmed. And so these are pretty easy to understand, like a tick and a dog. We know that the tick, he's getting a food source from the dog, so he's benefiting. But the dog's getting harmed because he's probably getting blood taken away, so that's bad. Or a tapeworm in an animal. We know that tapeworms take nutrients from animals within their digestive system. And then that animal can usually get sick, and so he's harmed. Or, oops, I didn't finish that letter. Mosquitoes. We know some mosquitoes get blood, right? So they're taking nutrients, and then the human gets harmed. The one big thing about this, though, is that they are harmed, not killed. Because if one of these organisms killed their host, like the tick, the tapeworm, or the mosquito, then their nutrients would run out, right? So they want to keep these are usually called hosts. Say these guys right here, these are my hosts. These hosts are usually kept alive, or they want to, because that means they'll keep getting a food source. Then, my last relationship for symbiotic, this is commensalism. Commensalism is when I have two species living together, but one benefits and the other one just doesn't care. And so that's where I get a plus and a zero. And these, again, you've seen these relationships before, like a shark and remora. So if this is my, oh dear, well, I tried. So if this is my shark, right? Have you guys ever seen those little fish that kind of hang on to their body? That's a remora. And so, yeah, it is what it is. I tried. But anyway, the remora, he's getting to eat the scraps of whatever the shark ate, and he's getting protection. So he's benefiting from this. But the shark's not getting anything from that relationship. So he's the one that doesn't care. Or barnacles in a whale. Have you guys ever seen those barnacles that live on the side of the whale? Again, barnacles, they're getting a free ride, and they're able to get food while they're attached to the whale. So they're benefiting, but they're not doing anything for the whale, so the whale doesn't care. Or sparrow and osprey. Osprey is a really big bird, and so sparrows, like if we have an osprey nest, right? Here's my osprey nest inside a tree. The sparrows, they like to build their nest underneath them because these osprey are very territorial, and so they'll keep all the bad things away, right? So the sparrow's benefiting because he just built his nest in a really good place and he knows nobody's going to mess with it, but the osprey, he's not benefiting from it, so he doesn't care. And then we actually have other relationships that are not symbiotic, but I want to make sure we pointed them out. We have predation. So if you're a predator, that means one organism is going to hunt and kill and eat another one. Again, that's different from parasitism because parasites just want to take nutrients, but as soon as they kill their host, the nutrients run out. So they don't want to kill them. They want to keep them alive. So predation is different. And then we also have competition. Competition is when two organisms fight over the same resource. And then we have two different kinds. We have intra-specific and we have inter-specific. Intra means it's the same species. So if you have two robins fighting over a worm on the lawn, that's intra-specific. And then inter-specific is when you have two different species competing. So maybe you have a robin and a blue jay fighting over it. Still relationships that were worth noting, but they're not symbiotic because they're not living together necessarily, not in the same way. So symbiotic relationships, two different species living together, mutual, they both benefit. Parasitism, one benefits, the other one's hurt. Commensalism, one benefits and the other one doesn't care. All right, I hope that helps.